Our nightcap will be the Los Angeles Lakers, your 2020 NBA champions, taking on the Phoenix Suns. LeBron James is warming up because he will be playing in this preseason matchup alongside AD. Maria Taylor, Jalen Rose still here with you in New York. And wow, we just watched the Celtics and the Nets. The Celtics kind of got wiped off the court, and we didn't get to talk about them at halftime. So I'd love to hear kind of like your instant reaction from what you saw from Boston.
So, of course, I love the collection of talent that the Boston Celtics had, and they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of time, led by Jason Tatum. Great that he's signing a massive extension. And he's an all-NBA performer. Jalen defender. And I love Marcus Smart as a guy that does everything that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. But I think this squad, this iteration, missed its window to take that next step. In particular on the interior. They had so many assets, but they didn't cash in on a big man. And so when I look around the landscape of the teams they have to play against, the Miami Heat, they have Bam. The Bucks, they have a couple of bigs, including Giannis. The Sixers, they have Embiid. So when the game gets close, you're going to have Tatum, you're going to have Brown. One of those guys usually have to guard up versus a guy that's bigger and more physical than them. That's been the issue for the Celtics, creating that interior balance to go with their perimeter firepower.
Yeah, and we know that Kemba Walker is still not playing, and he's out till maybe January as he comes back from a knee injury. But that doesn't help you with the interior, like you said, in that defending. But one thing that we were able to see was Kyrie and KD. There was a point when they went off on a 20-0 run between the third and the fourth quarter. And they look pretty good. I think the sage worked. The ritual cleansing worked for Kyrie.
Well, when you're as talented as Kyrie, you can burn whatever you want. In particular, at home or before the game, I see. And by the way, even if you're not supposed to have smoke in an NBA facility and it's prohibited, you can when you can play like those gentlemen. It was great to see KD back. Great to see Steph Curry back. When you have these elite level players that are back in our game, it creates a level of enthusiasm for this year's season.
You're right about that. And it was actually good to hear KD talking about that sage burning. And he told Cassidy Hubbard, listen, he does it before he plays 2K in the room. He does it in the locker room. So this is just kind of a normal thing that he does. It's our first time seeing it on camera. But hey, it certainly worked for the Nets here tonight. Well, we had plenty going on in preseason basketball. And for a lot of teams, this is their last tune-up. Miami Heat taking on the Raptors. And remember, the Raptors, the We Are North, they're in Tampa. That's where they're going to spend their winter. No Jimmy Butler for the Heat, though.
I love the Raptors backcourt. Kyle Lowry, that guy always outplays expectations. Fred VanVleet, great to see him get a big contract this offseason. But Pascal Siakam, no interior with Serge or Gasol. They're going to need his regular season production to be matched if and when they make the postseason.
Well, the good news for them right now, Kyle Lowry 6 for 10 from 3, so he went off 25 points in that matchup. Bucks taking on the Pelicans.
You know your league is in a good spot when Booker, Ja, Trae Young, and Zion didn't make the playoffs last year. And all of those squads have promise going into this year.
That's so true. I didn't even think about that. We got a lot of great ballers that could make their way into it. And the Phoenix Suns, that's the game that we're waiting for. That's going to be our nightcap. They have not made the playoffs in 10 straight seasons, so they're trying to get it done. They ended in the bubble on an 8-0 run, so it was really good the way that they ended. But the question is, can they start well?
I think they can. But the chess move in Phoenix that kind of went under the radar was hiring Monty Williams. He gave them some stability around the league that allows you to develop Devin Booker, use Ayton last year, and now bring in Chris Paul, who has a familiarity. And we saw what he did in OKC, still playing like one of the top point guards in the game. He's going to unlock a lot of that young talent on and off the floor on that Phoenix squad.
There's your guy, DeAndre Ayton. I can't wait to see him putting together a full season. They were 20-18 when he was on the floor.
Absolutely, and a guy that can play with his back to the basket, can play facing, but he's really going to thrive in pick-and-roll action with CP3 and Booker.
Shooting 55% from the field, and your nightcap wouldn't be straight without a little star power. LeBron James and AD playing tonight.
LeBron doesn't disappoint. He understands that he's getting ready for the regular season. Look at that money. Boy, that's a discount for LeBron James. And AD's going to be playing at an MVP level all season.
All right, we got the Lakers, we got the Suns. You got Jalen and Maria here in the studio for halftime.
Indeed.
We get you too, Dave Pash, Jeff Van Gundy, and George. more history this season. He's seeking to become the 4th player to win 3 consecutive MVPs all time, joining Hall of Famers Larry Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, and Bill Russell. So let's talk about what Giannis and these Bucks are actually capable of. And Jalen, I want to start with you. If I set the over-under at 0.5 for titles that the Bucks will win with Giannis on this contract, are you taking the over?
Over. I'm going over. Okay. Giannis going to win at least one championship, kind of like Dirk did with the Mavs. And here's the thing. He didn't waste this year. And here's what I mean. They're going to have a level of cohesion that other teams are going to try to find, in particular the Philadelphia 76ers. If you go into this season as a lame duck superstar player, you have everybody walking on eggshells trying to please you. And plus, on your bat phone, you can't necessarily recruit players to come play with you.
Right.
Now that he's locked in, they can do both. I believe that the Milwaukee Bucks will win at least one championship with Giannis.
J. Rose, do you think he's going to be there for all 5 years?
Yes.
See, this is what I don't know, Jay. So the next couple of years, if LeBron keeps playing at a high level, the Lakers are probably going to be the favorite. They can build a wall to stop Giannis, even if he is able to get out of the East. And then I wonder, what's going to happen if the temperature continues to rise in Milwaukee? If he doesn't win a world championship, or if they don't get to if they don't come out of the East, who knows what can happen in the East, right? Giannis has to be spectacular every single night. He can't just kind of, hand the load over to Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton. We've seen what happens when that occurs. I wonder if he will still be there, if he will still want to be a Buck, if we get to year 3 or year 4 and he still hasn't won a chip yet. That's going to be a question. When we've seen other players force their way out of situations like Anthony Davis with New Orleans, or maybe even James Harden, i.e. what's happening right now with Houston.
Yeah, I talked to Milwaukee's co-owner Mark Lazary about this the other day, and I think when they were selling Giannis on staying, number one, they really believed commitment means the world to him, and when he signs a 5-year deal, he believes I am committing for 5 years, and that's why it maybe took some time for him to get there. But they spent a lot of time with Giannis talking about how determined, hungry, and financially willing they were as an organization to do everything they can in those 5 years to put the pieces around him to win a title. But I think for Giannis, that is something that separates him from a lot of players in the league. When he signs a 5-year deal, he believes I'm making a 5-year commitment.
But this is also a victory for small markets and hopefully a sea change for teams that draft players. They become all NBA performers that they re-sign. We saw Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, now Giannis, for example.
And if you want to see the history of Giannis, you should listen to the Woj Plaza 3-part series on the Giannis draft, and it's really good. You get to know the man behind that buck. But you already told us that there's no one that's going to win this championship beside the Lakers.
No question.
Jay, will you say it right there because you're not here? But I want to give the best odds of the team that could upset the Lakers this year.
The Los Angeles Lakers, barring injury, in my opinion, like so many people, you don't have to be a genius to figure this out, are going to win the championship this year. But if I had to pick 5 teams that could possibly beat them, number 5, I'm going to go with the Miami Heat. I assume you got to... I'm going to go with the Miami Heat, and here's why.
I'm going to keep track. I'm going to keep track for you.
Because the Miami Heat just played them in the NBA Finals, okay? They have an identity, and they're here, Coach Eric Spoelstra, and they have 2 players in particular with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, who are lockdown defenders.
It's not lighting
that
up,
could
so we know
possibly go against LeBron and AD in a matchup.
All right, so number 5, we've got the Miami Heat. I roll with you and Jimmy Butler.
And by the way, tech things happen. Hey, Tony, and hey, my
y'all see it, right?
Hey, number 4,
Nuggets.
The Denver Nuggets. They have a distinct style of play. Yeah. You have the Joker, who's the most unique big in the game at center, and then you have Murray, who made a name for himself in bubble and showed that he could play really well in the playoffs. Hey, you never know. The Denver Nuggets could be one of those squads, especially if they get to play at home. Number 3, now you need star power.
I'm ready.
You need the Nets.
Okay.
You need KD. You need Kyrie. You need somebody that's going to look LeBron eye to eye like KD did in the finals. And who the last guy to shoot LeBron down? Kevin Durant was that person. And he's back healthy. Number 2, I just talked about Giannis and the Bucks. Because, Jay, you're right. If they get to the finals, they may have to go against the Lakers. But you got to get there first. And Toronto made it. The Miami Heat made it. I feel like a back-to-back MVP like Giannis is going to lift his team, and therefore they will have a chance if somebody's going to beat the Lakers. And number one, the team I picked to win it this year. The team I picked to win it this year, I can't front. I picked the Clippers to win it this year. I sure did, and I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong, but they still have Kawhi Leonard.
They do.
Paul George signed a new deal. Ty Lue moved over a seat. I think the Clippers are going to be more focused, more disciplined, and not feeling themselves.
It doesn't bother you that Montrezl Harrell's gone?
It does bother me, but it helps that Kawhi Leonard is still there.